Has Mike Brown lost control of this Laker locker room? We discuss on stntv. Welcome on inside Voice of the Nation Fast Break. My name is David Brickley alongside Kevin Figures and Jason Riley. We're going to give you an opportunity to win $500 worth of boxing classes and gear. There's going to be links in the description. We're going to tell you more about that towards the end of the show. All right, fellas. So the big news this week in Lakerland was Andrew Bynum's comments to the media going straight at Mike Brown. I mean, this was a direct slap in the face saying he doesn't take part in huddles anymore. He just does not respect Mike Brown enough to take part in huddles. I'll start with you, Jason. Is Mike Brown losing this locker room, or is this Andrew Bynum simply acting out and being immature as always?
He's in the process of losing the locker room. I don't think it's gone yet, because what we know in Lakerland, and maybe it doesn't apply everywhere in the NBA and every franchise, but winning and losing happens in the playoffs for the Lakers. So if Mike Brown is able to somehow turn this season around, the Lakers advance in the playoffs and have some success there, get to the Western Conference Finals or even the Finals, then things are fine. But if he goes into that first round of the playoffs and they struggle or lose, then that locker room is gone. I think he's in a dangerous spot right now, but I don't think all hope is lost.
I agree with you, Jason, on that one, because he came in with the expectations being so high to begin with, and look where this team has come from, having Phil Jackson for as long as they did. They're a team that already won a championship. This isn't a situation where, let's say the Detroit Pistons under Carlisle were winning, but they never won a championship. Larry Brown came in and they won. This Lakers team already won championships. They already had a mindset. They had a system that worked for them. So now you're bringing a guy with a whole different mindset, a whole different coaching staff, and he was already kind of working behind the A-ball from the get-go, having to earn the respect of Kobe Bryant and Andrew Bynum and Pau Gasol and the rest of the veterans in the locker room. So it was a tough proposition to begin with. I won't go as far as to say he's lost the locker room yet, but I can see where someone can say that, yeah, he's possibly losing the locker room.
The fact that Andrew Bynum would publicly come out and say, I don't know, I don't take part in huddles, and then when he's asked why he does that, he says, I'm resting, getting my zen on, which is a slap in the face to Mike Brown. He's obviously talking about Zen as in Phil Jackson, as in, you know, I'm talking about Phil Jackson being my head coach, which he probably liked more now that he looks at it. Here's the thing. You look at Bynum being thrown out in Houston a couple weeks ago, obviously shooting that three in transition against Golden State, now saying that he doesn't take part in huddles. There's two different schools of thought here. Number one, Andrew Bynum just being immature, as he has shown in the past, parking in handicap spots, etc., once again, and just rebelling because he wants to and he's tired or fed up. Number two, he has absolutely no respect for Mike Brown. And Kobe Bryant's kind of on Bynum's side. Say, hey, he needs to expand his game. He can shoot a three here and there. Kobe not really coming to the defense of Mike Brown. If it's number two, if it's option number two, Laker fans get ready because this team's going to burn out pretty quick in the playoffs.
I don't think Kobe's necessarily come to Bynum's defense. I think maybe he's kind of stayed
but if
in
Phil
the background
Jackson, doesn't
of
he
it.
Stand up for Phil Jackson?
Phil Jackson, absolutely, because I think Kobe and Phil had that kind of relationship where they had each other's back there in each other's corner. They'd been through so much. Obviously, Kobe and Mike Brown don't have that. But I think Andrew Bynum, as he has shown throughout his career, is just an immature kid. He came out of high school into the NBA. Obviously, that brings its own pressures. He's played on some really good teams. He's played with superstars. I just think the kid's just making some bad decisions.
You got to admit this is a little more serious because of the magnitude of the comments, and also the organization fined Andrew Bynum, which hasn't happened before. So this was obviously, it hit home to at least the Buss family.
I think it may be more of anything Bynum kind of feeling his own oats right now. I think, Jason, you brought this up in a previous show about him hitting that game-winning shot against the Celtics a few weeks back and gave him a little bit of confidence. And now people are calling him an all-star and the second-best center. I can do whatever I want. He's up. His contract is up after next season, and he knows that all the leverage sits with him, not with the Laker organization. So it's almost a situation where he kind of feels like he's Teflon, man. I'm untouchable. What are they going to do? They're not going to not re-sign me.
Right.
So I can do whatever the hell I want without repercussion. Now, the repercussion now is a fine, but when you're making $16 million a year, how much is a fine to you? So I think that's the biggest issue with Andrew Bynum now. I think it's more of an immaturity issue than Mike Brown losing the locker room.
When trade rumors were a buzz, I think he was famous for the quote, "There's a bank in every city." So he has no, he has no allegiance to the Lakers. I think he could really care less where he plays. He might actually want to go to another team where he's a focal point and doesn't have to deal with the Hall of Famer.
This is where you'd really like to see Kobe be the leader, be the alpha guy.
And this is what people are saying. Derek Fisher, possibly. This is
right. And maybe
it's
interesting. You have the exit of Derek Fisher, who's the vocal leader, who's kind of the emotional glue of this team. And then not so long after that, all of a sudden, Mike Brown's losing control of the locker room. All of a sudden, Andrew Bynum is making ridiculous comments to the media, and Kobe's not really saying anything. So that's what people have been talking about with Derek Fisher this whole time, and maybe that has a lot to do with what's going on.
Could this be a Rudy T situation where it simply doesn't work out after a year, and they say, Mike Brown, you can't control this locker room, you can't control the personalities in Hollywood, and you're out?
it's a lot of money to swallow to be 1 year.
Yeah.
And I think, and Mike Brown, I think that it's a different situation now. Like Phil Jackson is most likely not going to come back. Phil Jackson basically came back to save the franchise at that point. They're locked into a long-term deal with Mike Brown. I don't think Mike Brown is a bad coach per se. I just think it was an odd fit at the beginning. There's a lockout. They didn't have a full training camp. Right. It's an odd season all the way around. So I think it would be pretty unfair to Mike Brown to not give him a full season, a full training camp with this team, with these players to see what he can implement. But as far as him losing control of a guy like Andrew Bynum, how much control did Phil really have of Andrew? I mean, Andrew would still come off and say some flippant things, never to this extent. But Andrew's always been kind of his own person, always been pretty independent.
They cannot lose in the first round. If they lose in the first round, I think it's over.
Well, if your second best player won't even be in huddles and disrespects the coach that much, they will lose in the
And
first.
then a team that went from winning a title to being, right there with the contenders last season to a team that's a first round exit, I don't think they can keep him around. Not the Buss family, not the tradition that they have.
Well, we'll go ahead and throw it to you guys. What do you think? Is Mike Brown losing this Laker locker room? Is it really a serious thing that Laker fans are worried about? Make sure to comment below, like this video, and of course, subscribe to our channel. And again, links are in the description. All you got to do is like De La BBC on Facebook. If you like them on Facebook, you're automatically into the win up to $500 grand prize of boxing classes and gear right here on Lakernation.